Yes, on an industrial scale. When the school,
In
when the school
schools.
system, if you take the school system as a, you know, as one of the largest vehicles in kind of forming people's minds, then you have to
Social
in fact, I'd say it's beyond industrial scale. I mean, it's everywhere.
What are the numbers?
Well, how many school children is that?
But when you say it's industrial scale, what do you mean by
Well, if they're
industrial scale?
teaching that you can be born in the wrong body at schools, I don't know, what do you extrapolate from that? Would you see that as fairly
They're
wide
not
scale?
teaching that in my son's school.
Are they not?
Well,
it's one of the few places. Do you know that's a fact?
They're not.
Do you know that?
What's the fact?
Do you know that they're not teaching that?
Yes, I do.
Okay, would it concern you? Because, you know, to cut to the quick,
He's 10 years old, so it probably would. But at the beginning of secondary school, it wouldn't concern me.
okay,
It would concern me to primary
Sure,
school.
because Steve,
But why would it concern you if you
Steve, these are the
believe,
kind
because
of
you're
would you like your
pro-transgender,
son
why
to
would
be
it
shown
concern
being
you?
who you are, say when he was about 5 or 6, meaning you could be born in the wrong body? Because the author...
So what age is this? aimed at?
Well, this is 4 years old. This is 4 years enough.
But,
the author
but how many
actually had
4-year-old kids are being given that?
If they were, would it concern you?
Yes, they would.
Okay.
I don't get that.
If
I
I
don't get that.
can-
I don't get that because you're pro-transgender. You're always very pro-Sophia. So why would you be concerned if you
She's an adult.
believe?
She's an adult.
You believe.
But you can be.
But she
it's
started as a child. Her decision was made as a child.
13,
so,
wasn't it? I think
Yeah.
she said.
No, she said it was actually younger. She started at 8.
With the question.
And then the questioning, and then she went for counselling, and then round about the 13, that is when the hormones started to be given. So if you believe,
You can be pro. You say I'm pro-transgender, but that doesn't
because
mean
you're
I.
quite aggressive.
But that doesn't mean.
When I have said no, as I don't believe in it, you're quite
But you
aggressive
can be
with it, so
you
I'm
can be
surprised.
pro-transgender, but you still have limits. You still have parameters to what your views are. It doesn't mean it's not all or nothing, is it?
So would you say
So
then,
when
Steve, you don't think you can be born in the wrong body? Would you believe that yourself? And I'm not trying to. I mean, I want to kick it around.
Clarify your position.
Yeah,
because
I
you've come
think-
across-
I think-
sorry,
I
as
think
essentially
as
the
being
question-
pro. You've come across really
Well,
online.
that
as
one
if,
moment we had a bit of a.
Well,
what's
we're
the
always
word?
going to do it. We're both strong characters. You know,
but on that
that's just life. isn't it?
specific then, Steve. Would
the question?
would
So-
you believe that it's possible to be born in the wrong body? Because I can understand we can have a conversation on the science, etc.
So first-
but yeah,
So firstly, I would say, and this doesn't account for the majority of transgender, but it does account for some.
Yeah.
There are some people that are not either XX or XY chromosomes. There are chromosomal conditions.
biological.
XO,
We understand that.
XXY, there are those sorts
You'd
of
agree
people.
that's
They're quite
biological.
rare,
That's
So
biological.
yeah. Not
we all
big
agree
numbers.
with that.
So there's that
Yeah.
category. And then there are some people who psychologically believe they should be the other gender. That's fact.
Okay.
That is fact. There are people that believe that.
Yes.
To me, and just concentrating on the adults for
Yeah,
a
yeah.
moment,
Okay.
to me, if you're an adult,
Yeah.
if that's your view,
Yeah.
what problem does it cause me? It doesn't cause me any
The
problems.
problem would be if you had to confirm it, and if you misgendered him, would it be a hate crime? So let's say this chap. Can I just put that?
It should be no. It should be no.
He's a woman. If he said to you, "Am I a woman?" Right, you've got two choices. You can try and
Okay.
be friendly and kind to him.
I
or
don't
you
think.
can say-
I don't think it should be a literal crime, but I
Okay.
think it should. It would be bad manners. Just like I don't think using the N word, the P word, batty boy. I don't think use of those words should be a crime, but they're bad manners. They're rude. They're insulting.
So
they're discriminatory. You shouldn't use them. But I don't think they should be made a crime.
So you mean, so if a guy, like the one that showed in the picture, says that he's a woman, you feel like it's bad manners if you don't.
If you
confirm to
if you
him-
disrespect his choice, his view.
Right, okay. I think it's just you're on shaky ground there because a lot of people, there's a lot of things that people say that they are. That's just not reality. So, for example, you've got the Rachel Dolezal. She's a white Rachel Dolezal.
Oh, the woman that said she was black when she's
She
not
said, and you've got the Michael Jackson as well. When
Michael
Michael Jackson was
Jackson.
bleaching his skin, he was ridiculed by many people, especially and many white people ridiculed him and said that he believed he was white. So what I'm saying, I
Did
don't.
Michael Jackson ever say, "I believe I'm white"?
No, he didn't. He had that.
He just paled his skin.
he
We
had
all
that
knew he
skin.
came from a black family. and
No,
his
he
had
brothers
the
and
bone
sisters.
But
surgery
people
as
made
well.
fun. Yeah, but he did.
Allow me, man.
He had
Yeah, no surgery.
cosmetic
He went
surgery.
with Peter
so-
Pan, I think,
Yeah.
essentially, didn't he?
Yeah, but the fact of the matter is, people like Rachel Dolezal, who is German, Swedish.
There's
she
Rachel there.
Yeah, Rachel. There's Rachel there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, she categorically says that she's African American.
Oh yeah, he got turned down, didn't he? Yeah. Good point.
But aren't I right in saying?
So what's the difference? Would you say to her that she's not, she's white?
Aren't I
Would
right?
that not be disrespectful?
Aren't I right in saying ethnicity is classified as something as different to race? Ethnicity is considered, I forget the word that they use, but it's what you consider your heritage, your background to be, etc., etc. In the same way that gender has been classified as different to sex. Gender, again, is a wider, broader categorisation than sex. What you're talking about previously is sex, it's chromosomes, it's biology.
But so was
as races.
Ethnicity, so was ethnicity.
No, it's not, because I'm not agreeing with it, but the diversity of industry have defined ethnicity as something broader than race.
No, ethnicities in Africa, there's people who are indigenous to Africa, and she's not. She's indigenous to European.
You're talking about race,
no, she's
not
indigenous
ethnicity.
to Eurasia.
That's
what she's indigenous to. So you basically would disrespect her. He wouldn't accept her as an African American. He would not accept her as a black person.
Do you accept that race is different to ethnicity?
It depends on what you mean.
Well,
It depends on, you have to clarify it, because there's people
What do you think?
that are indigenous. Steve, answer the question.
You think that's
she
good?
said, no, just answer the question. No, answer the question, because what you're doing is, you put a question to me online.
See, this is what we're discussing. Should a 4-year-old be told you could be in the wrong body?
I'm very sorry. I'm sorry if you're offended by that interaction. But you are pretty antagonistic to explore. You're pretty antagonistic.
They should be left alone. They should be in a box with a whole load of things.
And just ask their own question.
Go in the garden.
He's not going to answer the question.
Repeat the
If
question.
Rachel Dolezal says that she's black, and that's what she categorically states, that she's African American and she's black, he would not accept it.
Here you go, ethnicity. Definition of ethnicity.
He wouldn't accept it. But now he wants to start throwing ad hominems in and just not answer the question.
Okay. You know what? Maybe we should bring it right down to
the fact or state of belonging to a social group that has a common national or cultural tradition.
So that is
nothing to do with colour, race.
So anybody.
It is different to race.
She's black. She says she's black.
The actual skin colour.
And that's my point. So if you look at
if she came to you, would you accept her that she's black? And if you did not accept that, you would be disrespecting her the same way you would be disrespecting people if they said that they're a woman.
Put it this way, it wouldn't keep me up at night. I wouldn't lose sleep over the fact that she calls herself black.
Would you accept
not
it?
if she does, but if you did.
Well, it would have had no consequence to me all my life.
No,
so
but she would find it offensive because she's made a big fuss about it.
Because I think, Steve,
But what would I be doing that would be antagonistic to her?
What's the same thing with transgender?
I know, but I'm not. But my position that I'm holding to her is different
need
to
to
the
be
position
polite to her. If you
sure,
need
Stevie,
white,
you
and I
didn't
would
tell-
be polite.
Yeah,
I would be
okay,
polite.
That's
When they were
fine.
listening,
Finally,
you were
answer the
telling them they're
question.
white,
I just have.
you could be
Finally, that was like getting blood out of a stone. Do you know what I mean?
multicoloured.
Steve, you made a very, very important, and this is probably the key one, is why should I bother? Because just let people live, and I can understand that. And that, no offence, but that would be your typical, when I say a liberal response, liberal as in, look, just
One moment I'm called far right, the next minute I'm called liberal. So that just goes to show
But
that.
the problem is that what's going on down at the root level, right, will affect you. It will affect your family. It will affect the future of mankind. And what I'm saying is,
We have to.
But some children
Well,
won't
that guy
bother. Some will be
absolutely
really
you say
upset.
that. We were just saying before you turned up, there's a charity called Mermaids which actually promotes
Mermaids
this kind of.
existing.
Well, not just that. They're specialising at the moment in assisting people to transition. Essentially, they've been given £500,000 by the lottery funding. Okay, they're going to be setting up all around the country. So what's happening at the moment in schools, that when you plant the concept in a 4-year-old's mind, you could be something that you're not. The whole basis of reality. It's a bit like, we talk about faith, and I say I believe in God. So we're now moving to, well, I don't believe in God, but I believe you, to a boy, could be a
they
girl.
could get mercilessly punished and teased and mocked at school.
We know it's the opposite. It's actually the opposite. Can I just finish?
There was loads of bullying at the school.
Unlike homosexuals, who still probably, I don't know, we would assume are still getting picked on a bit like when we were at school, but with transgenderism, because of
Everybody gets
YouTube
picked
and
on
the
still,
million subscriber YouTube transgender stars, the children who are coming out as transgender are idolised by the other
Are
children. And
there
this
many
is huge.
YouTube transgender stars?
Yes. Why don't you tonight, Steve, research that? If you've got transgender kids,
Keep it popping up.
and it will
Like
open
that
up the
smells.
world.
You search for it, but you search for anything.
But you got to realise this.
Yeah,
A lot of the half of this could be just computer geek geniuses
Have they got big
duplicating
views? They've got big
photos and
subscribers.
videos and putting genitalia on a body that isn't there. It's quite easy to make it look real.
Because you're not looking, Steve. See, your 10-year-old, if he's got...
Well, he's
might
on
be
YouTube
looking.
all the time.
He might be
Have a look
looking.
what he's
You
watching.
type in like,
See, if the schools don't get you, the YouTube's going to get
they
you.
will,
And the whole
I
thing
come
will
back
be
and I
going
say,
around.
Mike, because you keep referring to these 4-year-olds.
Yeah.
I'm the first to accept that not everything you read in the Daily Mail or wherever is going to be commonly true. You know, there will be one example of it somewhere
I
that
know,
they'll
you could
jump
just
on
blow
and
it out to
and then they'll
make
blow
their
it
own
out.
points, yeah.
I don't honestly, seriously believe that 4-year-olds, 5-year-olds, 6-year-olds are widespread being taught this stuff.
You know
I
what,
think
maybe-
there are some examples in
maybe.
a left-wing school in
Steve,
Brighton.
could you do this for us?
probably, but-
If you were to spend half an hour, type in trans education, trans children's books, transgender stars, whatever you want, and then come back, because you might not be looking at it, but one thing for sure, the children in the playground are talking about it in that one school. I know, don't believe the Daily Mail, 17 transgenders in one school.
Yeah, you know that
Now-
story.
now
But that
this
was
is
Brighton, wasn't it?
But this is getting
Brighton's a
so
left-wing
big.
city that's
Because I
known
couldn't
for-
believe it. I might have said this before. In my friend's school, the girl transitioned into a boy, but within 2 weeks, this boy now was a wolf. Because it doesn't stop at just a wolf. If you type in other things, but make sure you don't
Can I just say on that front, trans-speciesism, I think is bollocks. I've never- And I won't ever give it 1 degree of...
You want to be kind and respectful to.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. So
So-
if a man thinks he's a unicorn and he has a little horn inserted
so
under his skin,
Steve,
I mean, I can
Steve,
laugh at him, but
Steve,
who am I to be
He's
nasty
come into
to?
the park and he said, please respect the fact I'm a cat. Would you respect the fact he's a cat?
that's too
Because
scary.
he might kill himself if you don't. This is serious. This is what they will say. If you don't say he's a cat, he's going to go off and jump off a cliff.
He could just have a serious personality disorder.
Well,
He
first of all,
probably has.
he was a man who then went trans woman.
So
and then went down the
therefore,
route
should
of
we disrespect people that have personality disorders or
Okay, if your
mental,
10-year-old was
psychological
standing
problems?
next to you and he was there and you were calling him a cat, your child would go away with the impression that you really was a cat.
But it would be. My son is going to be strong enough to not.
If he was 4 years old, he wouldn't.
Does it eat cat food?
But if this
Tickle,
man,
tickle, tickle. You should see the
Cats
litter
might
tray.
not.
Yeah, would you
Taste
clean
it.
that guy's litter tray?
Listen.
Steve?
If this man came along to the park, it would not be right for us to bully him and laugh in his face.
Would it be right to call him a
ridicule
cat?
him.
That's the point. Would it be right to call him a cat? Go on, Steve.
Yeah, but it would be
I
cruel
got-
to call him a dog, wouldn't it?
Okay, but hang on. But Steve, is that a woman? That other guy wasn't a cat, but is that a
I
woman?
don't know, and it doesn't.
What if he says I am a woman? You've been kind to him.
So
But
what
you
is
would
that?
be-
Tell me what
that-
is this then?
He's the guy who was the twice convicted rapist, who then transitioned into men's prison, went on to sexually assault 2 other women.
So what is he? He's a man that transitioned to a woman.
Well, he's actually, he's now, unless you call him a woman, as a hate crime, as a transphobic hate crime. This is a woman. Still with
Well,
his
I'll
penis.
tell you something else
Did a
about my
woman's
position
person-
that you'll
Yeah.
like. The thing that the Conservative government has done in terms of they've changed the rules around what defines you as
You know, they had the
transgender, they've gone too
consultation.
far. Because in the past you had to have, was it 2
2 years,
psychiatrists
and you had to have
assessment,
2 years
you had
of
to
your
live,
role.
you had to live in that way for a long time. They've thrown that out the window. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So now I can just wake up tomorrow morning and decide I'm a woman, and I'm immediately
Yeah.
legally protected. That is ridiculous. That is
You know what's
gone
gone
too
beyond
far.
that? Because it's within the transgender spectrum, there are 50 subsets, one of which is bigender, and I was discussing it could come over me at any time, which means I'm simultaneously a man and a woman at the same time, and it can change hourly.
on the right.
Each hour it could change, and I've actually got it. I've even, this is.
What, so you can go
Okay,
to ladies'
here,
night
look, yeah,
and men's night.
Now, Steve, have you ever
Have you got the list of LGBT
fluid?
and then all the
Now,
other
that is-
letters?
Is it
Gender
gender?
fluid.
That's
Yeah.
by gender. Gender.
you're
Okay,
talking.
look, what it actually is, it's a gender identity that includes any 2 gender identities and behaviours. Some big ender individuals express 2 distinct personas which may be be feminine, masculine, agender, androgyny, or any other. Others find others find that they identify as two genders simultaneously. And I think the guy who was the spokeswoman in the Labour Party, the man who was...
You got all the others listed.
Oh yeah, look, the book's getting bigger by the day, huh? Genderqueer, Steve, have you ever searched deep to see if you are genderqueer?
I've heard of the word, but what is it?
Genderqueer, it's also known as non-binary. It's a fluid. It falls under the subsect of bigender. But trigender, have you ever tried trigender, Steve?
You tried.
See, Steve could next week, after giving it some serious thought, might find that he was living under a false kind of identity in the park.
All of this is the diversity industry gone mad.
Right, and this is, I suppose, we're tracking it back to its source, which is when they changed the DSM from sexual identity disorder, which it was 10 years ago, to gender dysphoria, and that changed it all.
I think, in part, it's an industry.
It is.
It's a power base. It's making money.
It's a social contagion, like fidget spinners and squishies and things like that. With children, it is a social contagion, and I don't think there's any genuine depth to it.
I don't agree with that.
Okay.
Like fidget spinners and squidgies, yes.
Squidgy.
How, but like in our day with marbles.
Yeah.
Or
it was, and
else,
clacker kind of things. You probably don't remember.
But I don't compare all those things with any of this. This is a nonsense within the adult realm.
An important stat is this: in 9 years, the percentage of children going to gender identity clinics, etc., has gone up 4,500%.
That was probably from single figures.
For sure, but this shows the development of the social contagion. And if in one school, even if it was in Brighton. But you know what? A lot of homosexuals have been given a really difficult time because the transgender lobby are actually saying, you're not a homosexual or a lesbian. You're a transgender man and you're a transgender woman.
Really?
And this is where the problem comes. And what's happening? Have you heard of trans misogyny? That's where lesbians won't sleep with trans men who have penises.
Lesbians won't
sleep with trans women who are lesbians as well.
So is that...
It gets complicated.
Men to women.
You've got a man with a penis who calls himself a woman, who wants to sleep, who essentially is saying to the lesbian, I am a woman, the fact I've got a penis and you don't like it is trans misogyny. Steve, we've opened doors
when it comes to
shut.
sex, we all choose who we want to sleep with and who we don't want to sleep with. The idea of misogyny or discrimination should never apply to sexual partners. You go with whoever whoever chooses to.
Whatever.
Go with. But it doesn't matter what that is.
We know, Steve. I was surprised that what you said because you.
Because I don't like ginger. Because I don't want to sleep with ginger women. Does not make me discriminatory towards ginger women.
It could do.
But not in my view, it doesn't.
Yeah, but why wouldn't you?
I was basically saying, sleep with me, or I'll take you to court for discriminating against me.
I suppose, yeah. But Steve, has it made you reconsider perhaps what's happening down at the grassroots level at schools and?
If what you were
because it is free speech. Essentially, it's a free speech thing. This is one of the steamrollers they're going to use to restrict how you can communicate. And
we just need to be sensible, and I think it's just little pockets. I don't think it's widespread.
Okay.
The fact, even if it was little pockets, wouldn't be good. But I don't think it's
Would
widespread.
you have a look at trans kids, trans children's books and things like that? Because I think it would be a real eye-opener.
Even if there was a massive YouTube star who's got millions and millions of subscribers and kids are watching them. They could be trans, but they might not be talking about their trans, and that to me is not a problem. But if they were
trans, sorry?
If this millions of subscribers YouTube star is a trans individual, that shouldn't be a problem in itself. But I guess if they're preaching about their transness, then that's a different thing. But if they're just standing there playing computer games and doing all the other shit that they do on YouTube.
I think what happens with most children, if they're anything like when me and Steve were young, is you have your idols, you have your role models, you have people who you want to be. So
but they might not make a big thing of their trans.
Well, the thing is, this child, well, now 18, has actually got a book which is a bestseller that's being read in the schools, and it's My Journey, where how the parents actually went full hog for it. And unfortunately, there seems to be if we want to talk about social groups, there seem to be fairly middle-class, white, liberal parents who are really indulging themselves in this and are actually almost like it becomes a status thing to have a trans kid. because
But
you
again,
don't
that's
get you
in
don't.
the left, the far left, cultural Marxists.
Exactly, the Guardian readers, those
Yeah,
kind of people.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But what I'd say, Steve, to bring it to a close, it's getting bigger. If you have a research trans kids, because for me, I've got 5 children, and my 11-year-old daughter, if she went, Steve, to the toilet, and you know, I know I've said it before, but sometimes we need just a bit of smelling salts. If this guy,
I reckon that dog's trans, don't you?
you've got your eye on that dog there. No, you could be trans species. That could be your next partner. You might not like ginger, but that could be your future wife.
Don't anyone say he likes the sausage dog.
Yeah, big ender. You could be. Yeah. So, Steve, I mean, would your prejudice kind of extend to not wanting him as your partner?
I wouldn't want him
Not being a transphobic.
that individual to be my partner.
No, okay.
But I re-emphasise my point. Who you choose to be your partner has got nothing to do with discrimination. We all have. Everyone on this planet has preferences, don't they?
They do.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, but as far as that sausage dog went, we kind of exclude
very
that.
beautiful
We
dog.
bring the hammer down on that one. Okay, well, Steve, yeah. Thank you, MistaRax.
But like, you know, Betty just made assumptions, thought, because I'm pro-transgender, then it means I'm supportive of every single perspective on that subject. Well, no.
Yeah.
There are nuances, aren't there? that
You know,
have.
you said something, I think it was last week, that not everybody agrees with everything along this kind
Yeah.
of hierarchical
Yeah,
kind of thing.
yeah.
So let's say there'd be a lot of things that Steve believes that I believe in, and on transgender, I thought the gulf was going to be so huge, but when I showed you that picture of the 4-year-old being told, be who you are, you could be in the wrong body, you would not want your son, when he was 4, to be told that, because you'd want him to be left alone to make a genuine mind up and to avoid social indoctrination, which essentially that is.
But on that point, you said
Yeah.
left alone to make his own mind
Sure.
up. How can an individual make their own mind up if they're not even aware of the potential options?
But are those options genuine options, or are they delusions? Because would you
Well,
be...
the thing is, all
Yeah.
of this discussion would have been
Yeah.
had 10 years ago about the subject of sexuality. For pretty much precisely the conversation.
Okay.
Should children be made aware that
The
gay
homosexual
people
group
exist?
Yeah.
And people then, and there'll be still people
Sure,
now, that would say, no, I do not want my child
Yeah.
to have the word homosexual mentioned in front of them.
Okay, in case that incites him or
Because
something like that.
this obsession that the gay world is trying to convert everyone.
Yeah, but the thing is, if they were never told it, and they never were before, and they actually ended up it, then they would have found their own way there, as opposed to being
But
steered
they
in
wouldn't
that
have,
direction.
but they might not have found their own way in a
And
very
also,
nice
I think
situation.
we have to agree-
i.e. they would have gone through
Yeah.
immense amount of
For sure,
bullying and
sure.
insecurity.
I think homosexuality has always been a facet of human existence, but transgenderism, where children would spontaneously say to an adult, you know what, I think I'm born in the wrong body, is something we've never experienced
I think there
before.
have been examples in our deep history where there have been trans people.
Okay,
people that-
I'd be
that
interested
lived.
to who were in the wrong bodies.
Well, they, you know, a woman that lived as a man, dressed as a man, behaved as a man. You know, there are examples of those
This is
sorts
where
of
I
people
wish
in
we'd
history.
leave the gender stereotypes alone, because when people say being dressed like a man or dressed like a woman, I agree with you. We're in
that's-
agreement
yes,
on
so,
that. I think children, I said it before, my youngest daughter, she wears a baseball cap, she wears jeans, she goes to judo.
Yeah,
she
yeah.
can choose to wear pink and she can do these things. But essentially it
But
seems
I
to
might
be...
suggest it's a spectrum,
Okay.
and maybe she's on that spectrum, but not
Of what?
of. Well, like
Identify-
so
no,
you
yeah,
could say,
yeah.
so you could say, let's look at
Yeah.
men, look
Right.
at males. You
Yeah.
can have a very butch, masculine, full of testosterone bloke.
Yeah.
Then you can have a slightly effeminate bloke.
Yeah.
Then you can have a highly effeminate bloke.
That's how they present.
Isn't all of this on a spectrum? That ultimately, and I suppose at the other
Yeah.
end, it's someone who wants
Yeah.
to chop off their cock and.
But you know what,
and
I think
become a woman.
that spectrum's fine. I mean, if a girl likes to do building and a boy likes to paint or play the piano, you shouldn't think their sexuality is suspect
But
in
aren't
any
they?
way.
Well, so we're not talking about
Yeah.
sexuality, but aren't we talking about? We're talking about a spectrum of femininity versus masculinity. That's all we're
Well, I
talking
think
about.
what we're talking about is gender. The difference between gender and sexuality. Sexuality is binary, apart from the anomalies that we have, which are the asexual
It's all about
people.
no, it's not binary.
There's X,
What
Y, and
what
XX.
bisexual?
XX and XY.
You said sexuality. Do you mean sex?
Yeah, what I mean is a biological sex. See, I made
Not
that mistake. No, you're correct.
sexuality.
He's
Right,
correct.
yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
So biological sex is binary. Okay, but when we talk about gender, there are two boxes which it seems we have two different contents. So you have pink, you have lipstick, you have fairy wings, you have this, so you have a beret, you have a gun and things. I'm saying, look, don't force children to play with one box or the other, because I think naturally they'll gravitate to one box. They'll gravitate to the box, the boys' box. Boys will go to the boys' box. But when you say, so can I just finish this? If you were to say, well, hang on, what I'm going to do on Tuesdays, you're going to dress as a fairy to your son, and I'm going to put lipstick on you and all of those things, and then on Wednesday we're going to do this, and I'm going to encourage you to explore which one you like more, and then when you made the decision you like pink, etc., because maybe you might be a sensitive boy. You know, these were the boys who were pilloried at school. They called them queers and stuff. But now this boy is being being put on the track where he's actually saying, you know what? On the basis of these crude gender stereotypes, I'm defining my sex, my biological sex, and that's the problem. They shouldn't be bound on these gender stereotypes. In fact, some of the worst gender stereotypes you see in transgenderism, where it's all lipstick and wigs, and you know, this is why I tell you what, I've got a lot of respect for this chap. This is a woman, but he's saying, why do I need to follow gender stereotypes? I don't need pink, I don't need this. In fact, I don't even need to have anything chopped off. And he is a transgender rights activist woman. Now, for me, that's just so deluded you wouldn't flip and believe it. But this is the way we're going, and Steve, have a go tonight if you can. Maybe you and your wife should sit down and explore transgender. Maybe you'll switch. You never know. Anyway, MistaRax, it's been a good start to the morning. Yeah, thank you, Steve. Yeah, that's good. Okay.
How are you?
Yeah, good.